This is a short tutorial on how to paint the rock, the gift. It's a mini gift of the larger painting that was painted for New Harvest Christian Fellowship. So today I'm going to show you how. Obviously, to paint the gift we need rocks. In this case I'm doing a rather large batch, 70 rocks. We need these cookie rocks that I have sourced from Cape Town, and the very first step that we need to do is we need to create a kind of a circle. So you need to look at your rock, decide where the circle is, and then using a white colored pencil crayon, you need to just make a shape that resembles a round portal. In this case I'm using a white charcoal pencil. Throughout this tutorial we'll be using acrylic paint, and the very first step is to use a white paint and in a very rustic way to fill that circle in, creating a base coat of white with a little lip at the end, sort of a half moon that you have left out. The next step is to select the various colors you're going to need for the gift. So we need black, a blue, green, brown, some gold, grey, and then sort of flesh color for the baby, and white, and all these colors that you can actually see in here. So in my selection I've used a lot of different colors. I've pulled them out. Black and white is obviously the most that you're going to use, so I've put them in separate bottles. There's the black, and then there's green, and whatever other colors you'd like in this thing. Obviously you need a paintbrush. I'm using a long one, which is my preferred one, with a nice pointed tip that you can do little detail with, but generally this paintbrush will cover the entire artwork. When your artwork is finally finished, you're going to be needing this gloss. I use Dela to paint on, but we'll get to that. You're also going to need copious amounts of water, which you'll change regularly for cleaning your brushes, as well as lots of roller towel for cleaning your brush off before you pop it into the water to rinse it off. You'll get lots of paint on your hand during this process, so it's a nice idea to get some wet wipes to go along with your project. Just to get back to the cookie rocks and the base coat of white, we've outlined the portal there, and all you're going to do is just put a very light coat of white, just taking it right round. It really doesn't have to be smooth. In fact, the less smooth the better for what is going to be coming later on. So I finished the first coat of the bases of these rocks. In fact, the little circle with the half circle left out, that we'll paint black later on. But you'll see the paint is quite uneven, and that's absolutely normal. So what you can do now is just to go over with a second coat if you like. For example here, just to smooth it out, not simply because of the look of the white, but more just to smooth out the surface, so that you've got a nice smooth surface to paint on when it comes to the real artwork. Once you've painted the white base of the portal, we need to just very rustically fill in more or less where you think the altar is going to be on your rock. So this is the original, and what we're going to do is just very rustically just paint a little altar. Don't worry about the quality of the painting at this point, because you'll be touching it up and finishing the entire rock up at the end with very fine detail. The next step is a delicate step, because we're going to be trying to make the graded colors of the portal, and we're going to start with the blue on the rim of the circle. So using blue paint, you just tip the tip of your paintbrush in the paint and then you start very delicately on the edge, just dropping some paint along the edge. Once you've painted a strip all around the edge, you're going to blend it in. So you're taking your paintbrush, dipping it in water, taking off the excess water, and then back to your rock, and you very delicately just start there and start blending those edges in, so that it sort of goes into the white paint and that you'll have this kind of effect. The next step is to enhance the portal a little bit with yellow colouring. So we're still working very loosely, and we're working in light yellow, making a circle in where we think the portal might be, and then blending it along the edges like that. From this point forward, the painting on the rock gets a little bit delicate, so you need to take time with it, but don't worry about the shapes, just let God's Spirit help you with it. So if you look here, you'll see I've created a portal, and I've kind of blended the yellow on the edges so that it's not it's not like a line there. It just blends into the painting. And then once you've done the portal, then you can start with the little staircase to heaven. Here I've used a gold pen marker, acrylic pen marker, and created the just simple lines in diminishing order into that little blue spot. I've also added, of course, the baby's face. The next step would be to create the half moon shape on the left hand side of the rock, to create this sort of portal that we're looking at. And then when you've done that, then we're going to start moving to the baby and to paint some of the baby. Now I'm doing all these little bits and pieces in different orders to allow the paint to dry sufficiently. So we're going to hop around on the rock, but the next step would be to create the baby's little blanket, and we're using purple paint. It's really quite an easy process, and I'm going to try and do it here behind the camera. So all you do is you do a stripe, simple stripe, then you take the tip of your paintbrush and do that and that to create a sort of a where the arms would lie, and that's it basically. The next step in this little painted rock is to apply yourself in God's Spirit to do the finer details of the image. So I'm going to whip through it and just show you what we're doing. You're going to start off with doing the hands of God around the staircase. It can be tricky, but just do your own thing with that. So I'm just going to run through some of the details now. The staircase, you need to put a little black strip around the edges. We need to put a cross in the portal. We're going to put the tree, so you're going to have the dry stems going to the left, and then the nice new stems and the tree of life coming towards the portal with lots of tiny little green detail in whatever greens you actually want. The baby's face can get quite tricky too, so make it delicate and small with 3 little stripes, one for the 2 stripes for the eyes and 1 for the mouth. And then the white detail, I've used a white Posca pen to get those little details around the side of the blanket. Obviously around the baby are the rocks, so you need to make little circles in a darker brown paint, and one can embellish them as you like with that. The little lamb has to be added, and that is also not too difficult, but it takes time, so just pace yourself. And then finally the Christmas tree to the right of the rock, just with little cascades of sort of arrows all the way down in different shades of green. So that is the detail on the rock, and then of course you need to write the gift on it as well. So at this stage it's really up to you to work on the finer details as much as you can, but not to be concerned if it doesn't turn out. I mean, at the end of the day, this is just a gift for somebody else. You're doing your best, and that is more than okay. Don't forget to put in the white root, which extends both into the dark world and into the portal's light. And then finally what I do is I use a stroke of white paint to try and blend to get the light from the portal out, and it's quite a free stroke, so you start your brush there and you just pull it out. It's just going to create streaks, giving that feeling of the light coming out of the portal. Then finally, when you've completed your artwork to the best of your ability, and if you can find some what they call shimmer acrylic paint, it's sort of an opaque paint with a lot of shimmer in it. I've got mine from Creative Workshops in Cape Town, but it is pretty pricey and it's not essential, but it just gives a final touch to your artwork. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cover some of the essential spots with the shimmer paints. So you'll see my paintbrush is covered with the shimmer paint. I'm just going to put a little bit in on the blanket of the baby, and perhaps from the portal as well. It's difficult for me to show you while I'm trying to paint and video, so let me put it on and I will show you once I'm completed. So I've completed painting the shimmer paint very freely, and I've pulled some of the strokes into the black area. You can see it's still wet, but if you turn it to the side, it shimmers. The other name they call it is pearlescent paint. It's hard to find and it's not always available, but it certainly puts a finishing touch to the artwork before you seal it. So I've done all these 5 little rocks, and now we're just going to wait for this to dry and then we will seal it. The final step of your little gift rock, once you have completed and touched up all the little parts on the artwork, is to seal it up properly. This is really important and probably the most important step of all rock painting and rock preparation. So the sealants I use are the one that I prefer is this Daler acrylic gloss, and I paint it on. You can also use this, and there are various sealants out on the market. Just make sure it's not one that colors into a yellow, but this is the one that I use. So I use 3 layers, paint 3 layers of sealant on it, and you dry it well in between each layer. So in our South African climate, where it's really hot, the sealer dries very quickly, maybe about an hour in between each layer. So both in the front and at the back to seal it. So the current ones that are being sealed are here, they're still wet, and I'm leaving them, and I'll come back to them and put the other layers on. But this is what your rock should look like at the end, with all the little details on it. And then finally, don't forget to put your name on the back. I use a sticker. It's an all-weather sticker, but yeah, you can paint your name on or write it on with an acrylic paint marker or a permanent marker, just so that people know who has done it. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I know it might seem a little bit tricky, but just put some music on, say a prayer for the person who's going to receive your gift, and no matter what it turns out to be, it will be a gift. So may God bless you, and remember the verse that the gift is based on, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he sent his only Son, that whoever might believe in him will not perish, but will have eternal life. May God bless you.